Good afternoon, YouTube. Your man, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, like I said in my earlier video, it is a busy week for bodybuilding, but this time we have a show that covers pretty much almost all the divisions in the IFBB. I think it's almost pretty much all the divisions. And as you know, as a content maker, especially I focus on women's bodybuilding, also women's physique. Figure. I mean, not physique. I want to say figure. Never mind. But y'all pay attention to me. But like I said, this is a popular show. It's in Canada. As you know, I'm a big fan of female bodybuilders from Canada. Just recently interviewed Aubrey Meyer, who competes up there, and she's planning on competing again after she did the Vancouver Island show. And this is a list for women's bodybuilding. We have, as you know, both the shows have both open and master classes. So for women's bodybuilding, it's kind of a small list, but still pretty good because, the women's bodybuilding competitors not as many, and then still some will probably try to jump on the shows that are more close in the summer, so we try to get Olympic qualification. Now, first up we have is a lady we have not seen in a while. She last competed in 2022 at the Rising Phoenix. This is Nadia Capasoto. Nadia switched from physique to women's bodybuilding, made a debut in 2021 at the Puerto Rico Pro in the Bahamas. And then that same year, she won a qualification twice. First one is in Puerto Rico, actually in the Bahamas, then at the Romanian Muscle Fest, and then she won a third show, the Big Man weekend. And she did pretty good. She's really good. She qualified for 2022 Olympia because she won the Romanian Muscle Fest. But then, because of medical issues, she had to drop out, So she took a break from last year, and now she's making her return this year. Here we have here a lady also who I interviewed, and she just did a show last month. That's New York Pro, and that's the lovely Miss Gina Carverio. Gina, she's been working with Hella Trevino and several other IFB pros, and she made some improvements. And, I interviewed her after she took a break because of medical issues, and now she looked very impressive. She was top 5 competitor at the New York Pro, and I hope she did pretty well at the show. She really has made some improvements since she turned pro back in 2021. But still, like I said, there's some things you need to work on. I hope she does. And also, shout out to her. She is a Bad Rap sponsored athlete. Shout out to Eunice and Jolene. I saw her do her signing on my man David Bryant's Female Vitamin 4. Also, we have here a lady I have the pleasure of interviewing. I still consider a good friend, the lovely Mrs. Melody Horton. As you know, Melody has been a bodybuilder since the good part of the 90s. She's one of the few women competing today who competed when Miss Olympia was a standalone show. Before they started Olympia weekend, remember back in the day, Miss Olympia and Miss Olympia were separate. Now they're together with the Olympia weekend. She's one of the few women still competing today that competed back then. She competed in 99. She was a break off to get married, have her kids. And she's been competing the last 6-7 years as an IFB pro in women's physique. But then she switched this year to women's bodybuilding. She did the event Isle show, which took third. And I'm a fan of Melanie. I think she's an amazing lady. And I hope to maybe get her back on to do a little update on my channel. Next up we have is a lady who just turned pro in 2022, I believe. This is Ava Mileto. If I got a name wrong, I apologize. This is a young lady. She hasn't been competing as long, but this is going to be a pro debut. And for what I'm seeing her, she looks very impressive. She could be, a title contender for Olympic qualification, depending on who else is on this list. Now, one lady who I'm a fan of, who I interviewed and get the pleasure to meet back in 2022 while in Savannah, is the lovely, the beautiful Miss Sina Oleg. Now, Sheena, she last competed also, like Nadia, at the Rising Phoenix back in 2022. She's been in bodybuilding for at least a couple of years. She made qualification first time in 2021 at the Chicago Pro when it was in Atlanta. And then she has some slides here and there. She was placed in top 2, a couple of shows, top 3. When I saw her in Savannah, she was, I think, the top 5. She missed qualification for 2022 Olympia. But like I said, she took a step back, and now she's back in competition. I'm a fan of Sheena. I just saw her interview with my man, Glenn, at his Amazon Fitness Magazine YouTube channel. She looks lovely. She looks great. I hope she does qualify. I do. But like I said, it might be better between her, Nadia, and probably one of the newer girls who's competing at this show. Next up is a lady who I interviewed a while back, a lady who is a friend of mine. This is the lovely Gabriela Vega. As you know, Gabriela, She competed at the Triple O Dynasty just about a couple of months ago. She took second to Teresa Vosek and won in the Masters class. She's also competing in the Masters class at this show. Impressive lady, she's been living here in the States for quite some time now, and she has a great physique. She really truly has a bodybuilder physique. Possibly she could be top 3, maybe even win the most likely I think she's gonna win the Masters part. But like I said, maybe if there was still points, I think she probably would qualify for Olympia by points. Also, possibly we might see her in a future competitor at the Masters Olympia. So best of luck. Next up here, I have one Miss Teresa Rego, and she's from Canada. Now, she earned her pro card 2022 at the Amateur Olympia. Not much, I don't know much about her. I reached out to her. Maybe I might get to her for an interview after the show, and we talk about what her future plans is for the rest of this year. And lastly, we have one Miss Kenya Squarey, and she's a doctor, Dr. Kenya Squarey. And she's been competing for quite some time. She was top 5 competitor at the Chicago Pro last year, competed at Tampa. She was before, I think she was doing women's physique, but she switched to bodybuilding. So the doctor, let's see how she does. Now, one woman who I follow her on social media, and I thought she would be great at the show. She took third in New York. She's also a doctor, but Dr. Veterinary, Dr. Jenny Welker. Now, she took third in New York. She looked very impressive. I thought she might try to do a show, maybe try to get Olympic qualification. But like I said, maybe even get points. Remember, she switched from physique to women's bodybuilding back in 2021. She did Savannah. She was a top 4 competitor at that show. It looked very impressive, But like I said, we'll wait and see. She might either do Atlanta or Chicago. Those shows are at least about 4 or 5 weeks away. Now, this is the list for women's physique at the Ultimate Class. It's deep. It's deep. There's a lot of ladies in here who are Olympic level competitors. Some ladies who are making their debut here too. I mean, like I said, this is a deep list because with this year, one as many competitors for shows, but I think because usually a lot of competitors want to jump on later when we get to the summer shows, so it won't take a lot of time. And also, there's just about as many competitors for both the Open and Masters. I think there's a couple of short compared to 15 here, and there's 13 in the Masters. Some ladies are not over 35, I believe, or some don't want to do Masters. I can understand that. I respect that. Now, first we have here is, this is the list for the Masters, and you see pretty much the same list, but like I said, some ladies are missing. Now, we have here Olivia Beun, Olivia Beun, she is, qualified for Olympia back in 2021. There was a mishap with situation, with her coming from China and all that stuff, but she eventually qualified for the Olympia. She last competed in 2022, and since then, she's been over back in mainland China and now working with her. But what I've seen her, she's really impressive. She might really be one of the people that might qualify for this Olympia. Sometimes when she comes to America, she stays in South Carolina. I know she's trained by Trey Hodge, and also she hangs with Monique Jones. But like I said, I'm a fan of her. She has a great personality about her, a great physique. I think she possibly could be a contender for another Olympia shot. Next up, we have a young lady here by the name of Sarah Bowe. Don't know much about her. I think this might be her pro debut. I believe she turned pro at the North Americans back in, I think, 2021 or 2022. So we're going to find a little more information about her. Next up, we have here one Miss Candice Carr. Now, she's been competing for quite a long time. She was at one point was a bodybuilder, but later switched to physique. She last competed both at the Masters Olympia and the Masters Championship. She won in her class. I think it was over 40 and over 45. But impressive lady, great physique. I've been talking with her. Maybe I'll get a shot to talk with her on my channel. Right here we have a lady by the name of Wee Ping Chin. She's from Thailand. And I think she turned pro about some time ago, maybe about 2023. This is a new competitor. I don't know much about her. She's regionally from Thailand. This show is gonna. If you look at the list, there's quite a few Asian women on this list. I mean, I think it's a lot easier to get into Toronto than it is to America. But let's wish her best of luck for a pro debut. Next up, we have is one Miss Georgia De Brino, I believe it is. I want to apologize if I got a name. Miss Georgia D. I'm going to call her with respect. Now, she is from Canada, and she competed at the Toronto Supershow last year. Like I said, not know much about her. I think she only applied for about a couple of years or so, but we wish her best of luck. Next up is one Miss Miss Jessica Feldborn. You know, Jessica turned pro last year and made her debut at the New York Pro. She was, I think, number 7. There was talk that she was thinking about going over to women's bodybuilding, but they said that maybe just work on your conditioning, dropping a little more size and coming a little tighter. She might do well at this show. But like I said, she's a personal lady. I'm hoping we might finally get on our channel for an interview. She's been interviewed with quite a few. My man David interviewed her, my man KL. You know, it's time for me to get a shot. Okay, guys? Next up, we have here it's a lady I consider now. Hadn't known that long, but you know what? Since people just become fast friends with the lovely Mrs. Tracy Giles. You know, Tracy turned pro at the Grand Prix in Melbourne, Australia. It was a show was only her and a lady who interviewed who competed the show, Miss Charlotte, and they gave her a pro card because she deserved it. And she was planning on possibly, doing some shows in the States, but then she got sponsored to do this show in Toronto for a pro debut. I could see her as being top 5 contender, possibly even winning. This is all depending on how the condition of the other competitors look. But like I said, I'm a fan of Tracy, and I hope to have her back on after the show to talk about her experience as her first pro. Also, we have a woman, Liz Jacobs. I believe she's been competing for a bit. Don't have much information about her. I even reached out for an interview, but we never get back for it. But I think this might be her pro debut. Next up is one Miss Jolene Keith. And Miss Keith, she competed like I think a couple months ago at the Pittsburgh Pro. As you know, the show was only like 3 competitors. I think she was number 2 behind Natalie Wade Wolf. A personal lady, good physique. Maybe we get on for an interview one of these days. Next up, we have one Miss Lorena Lafleur. You know, if I got a name wrong, I apologize. She is from the Bahamas. Now, she turned pro at the Amateur Olympiads last year at 2023. Like I said, I got much information about her. Maybe if I get an opportunity, if she sees, I will make a request. Sometimes when I see some new names, I want to know something about you. So I would send a request for an interview. Maybe we'll get one. Maybe it's not soon. Next up, we have here Jai Hai Lee. And she's one of 2 South Korean IFB pros. The other one is Kim Yoon, who competed at New York Pro. She competed quite some time. She's been an Olympic competitor too. She last competed for last year was at I think she did both the Arizona Pro and the Legion Sports Fest. So this is going to be her first show for a year. I know she earned her Olympic qualification at the Toronto Pro back in 2022. Here we have the lady I have the pleasure of interviewing on my channel. She also was busy last year, did Tampa, she did the Masters Olympia, and also the Master Championship, the lovely Mrs. Robin Mays. Now, Miss Robin is a lovely lady, great physique. She, as you know, she's competing in the open class. I think she has a lot of potential, maybe someday the right show, or maybe she might get a little qualification if the Masters come back. But like I said, I'm a big fan of Miss Mays, and I hope she wish her the best of luck. Next up, we have a lady who is in about an hour or so. I'm going to have a live stream interview with her. That's Angela Nori. Remember, Angela's been on my channel before. She competed no more than about a month or so ago at New York Pro. She does well. She did. Angela's a tall lady. It's hard for these taller women to really put on enough muscle for conditioning and everything. There's so much work to this. Angela, she's been a pro for the last couple of years. She's been pretty much a constant performer at the both Toronto and New York because she lives in Rhode Island. It's a lot closer to her than going down with, but she has competed in other shows. She competed last year at the Daytona Pro, and she competed both in women's physique and figure. We're going to talk to Angela this afternoon and see what her plans are after the Toronto Pro, and if she's going to, like I said, make some changes. But like I said, I'm a big fan of Angela. I hope the best for her. Now, next up here, we have here Dr. Autumn Swanson. And this is a doctor. She's a doctor in physical therapy. And she has been a multiple-time Olympic competitor since the start of the physique division. She took a break, was competing in figure for a good while, stopped competing for the last couple of years, and made a return last year at the Omaha Pro, where I think she was in the top 5 of that show. She is a mom. I did a Mother's Day comparison video with her and Jessica Diaz. And from what I'm seeing her, she is most definitely a contender for the show. Like she said, she's been a multiple-time Olympic competitor. She's even been second runner-up to the former champ, Julian Monacarne. And next up we have is one Miss Nadia Vidal. Now, she's from Canada. She's a coach and trainer. She turned pro at the Toronto Supershow because they have a pro show. They have a pro qualifier before the pro show. And she made a debut, I believe, at Chicago, where I think she was, I think the top 5 of that show, number 2. I'm trying to remember. Like I said, but she also is still against his coach and trainer. Mr. Vidal's been competing for quite some time. I know some ladies who have, become friends on social media. They talk about it because they work with her. But like I said, we wish her best of luck at the show. And one person who I thought, might try to do a show, because she told me during an interview she was thinking about doing a show after she turned pro, is Robin Falkenham. And Robin, she's in Canada. We've been talking back and forth. She's planning to do some shows this year. I think she wants to do more shows in the States, because like I said, there's more opportunities for competition in the States than in Canada. There's only, other than the Vancouver Isle show, other than the Toronto Supershow, there's a Vancouver Isle show. There was Vancouver Pro, but they dropped women's physique from that show about a couple of years ago. And then we have here Julia from Germany. Her name, I don't want to mess it up. Julia, she took second to Sharon Creator in New York. And I thought she might try to do this show. This was, like I said, you think about it, this girl turned pro no more than barely a month ago, took second behind someone like Sharonica, who's been more-time Olympic competitor, and was barely a pro just, a month, and took second. Let's talk that she might maybe try to do a show overseas. It'll be easier because she's from Germany. Maybe the Imperial's coming up, I think, in a few weeks, or maybe the also there's the Portugal Pro. Those shows are, I think, Imperial's around about the end, about June, and the Portugal is like about July. So those are options she can have. Also, she can probably do the Romanian Muscle Fest, because Lena has a show, but they don't have women's physique. It's strictly women's bodybuilding for the Lena show. So shout out to that. So anyway, the show is gonna be a pay-per-view, but here's the niche, guys. This is something that kind of rose my cherries. The cost for the amateur part, which they have the amateur part before, that comes on Saturday, same time as the Omaha Pro, which is $20 for both the finals and the prejudging. And then for the pros, it's $40 for the prejudging and also the finals. But do make a deal, so we get both at $60. But hey, guys, if you pre-order it, it's $45. Now I got an interview. I think it said that because Toronto is on the same time line with America, so that's Eastern Standard Time. I think the show starts about 8 or 10. I think I'm trying to remember, but Toronto is Eastern Standard Time, so we have to worry about missing an hour or missing 2 hours, But like I said again, you can pre-order it. Cost you $45. If you order it just for both the prejudging and the finals, it's gonna be $60. So I'm thinking about might just watch the prejudging, because like I said, I got interviewed at 2:00 and then you come back for the finals at 3. I'm trying to figure out when are they gonna start with women's bodybuilding, women's physique. If it's like the other guys, like men's classic or men's physique or something like men's bodybuilding, then women's physique and women's bodybuilding down the line, then I would pay the $45 and watch both the prejudging and the finals. But like I said, it's up to how the women's divisions are placed. It'd be worth my time. Usually if they do the men's first in the prejudging, then they're gonna do them in the same as the finals. So we're just gonna wait to see. I get to see how the schedule looks and see how it goes. So then I might just watch both. If not, then just watch one. And that's probably the prejudging, because it comes on early in the morning. So anyway, folks, I'm gonna leave the link for the live stream in the description. You want to check it out and support. Like I said, this is what these shows need. If we can't go to, like I said, I don't have a visa, or I don't have a passport. I can't go to another country yet. So it's easy for me to watch from pay-per-view. So anyways, man, always your page, aka the Emperor of Female Boundary Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out.